Very pleased now to be joined by Sophie Elsworth, who is the News Corp personal finance editor. So you can be read in all the major papers in the country, Herald Sun, Daily Telly. Now tell us a little bit about what the banks are doing, because we heard the RBA announcement with a rate drop this week. Have the banks passed that on to consumers, and also talk to us through the measures they've put together to try to bring some relief to small business owners?
Well, obviously, Rita, this time that we're going through is just so amazing every day, watching what's going on and what the banks are doing and what relief is being offered. Now, what's happened yesterday, we obviously had RBA Governor Philip Lowe come out and cut rates. What has actually happened with the banks? Only one of four of the big banks have passed that on to variable rate customers. So that's ANZ, who came out today and said for borrowers, any borrower out there, it doesn't matter if you're a small business owner or who you are, they're dropping their variable rates by 15 basis points, which is really interesting. The other three are not.
Well, that's really disappointing, because so only one out of the four, and it's still not passing on the full cut, but the other three are just pocketing that. But I guess they could say that the measures that we're going to put in place for small business owners, giving them some relief with payments, is going to cost us billions, so perhaps that's seen as some sort of compensation. Now, talk to us about how the supermarkets are handling this. I know you've been out there observing particularly this hour that's supposed to be dedicated for pensioners and people with disabilities. It did start off badly. There were empty shelves, long lines of elderly people. Has that situation improved, that the supermarkets got on top of the supply chains and restocking in time for that crucial hour?
Oh, it's absolutely changed. I was down at my local Coles in Melbourne Southeast this morning. There was actually toilet paper on the shelves. People were just jumping, literally jumping with joy in the aisles, going, "Oh my gosh, there's toilet paper," stacked up. You know, this was in a Coles supermarket. It was far more orderly. Look, the hour of for just elderly people was a disaster when Woolies rolled that out on Tuesday. It's got far better. We're becoming a bit more civilised. I think Australians are listening to Scott Morrison. They're behaving better in the supermarkets. But mind you, I saw a woman in there today taking a whole tray of tuna with about 24 tuna cans. So we still have those hoarders who think it's necessary to, get supplies in their cupboard like they're never going to be able to shop for 6 months. So I think the supermarkets are doing a good job. They told me yesterday they're actually bypassing part of the supply chain. Some trucks are going direct to the supermarket.
They're not going to the factory first.
Not going to the distribution centre, wiping out that whole element of supply chain just to get the toilet paper and items straight on shelves.
Seems like an obvious solution, and it's surprising that it's taken about 2 weeks for that to happen, because I think that's been adding to the panic, particularly for older people, where they show up early, 6 a.m, lining up for that one crucial hour where they're going to have the shopping supermarket to themselves, and there's nothing there. That just adds to that sense of panic. So that's fantastic to hear, that they're getting their distribution lines in order and the supply chains finally working again. Now, just back on the banks, do you expect them to start giving some sort of relief also to mortgage customers? I want to know what your advice is to people whose salaries have perhaps disappeared or reduced dramatically. There's a lot of people working in service industry, in tourism, hospitality, whose incomes are plummeted or been reduced to zero. How can they cope during this period?
Absolutely. So what the banks have come out today, all of them have said they will offer relief for small business owners. Now, this extends to those small business owners who have mortgages. Often they have the two rolled in together, so it becomes complex. So if you're one of those people out there who has a mortgage and are really struggling, whether you're a small business owner or not, ring up the bank, get straight onto them now.
But what if you're not a small business owner, you don't have a small business loan, but you're just an employee or someone perhaps who works on a casual basis, and your income is no longer there? Are the banks offering any relief for just regular home loan customers and other car loans, other people who've got debts in place?
So the Bankers Association came out today, Rita, and said they've actually had very few people, mortgage customers, sole mortgage customers, ringing up with trouble with their payments. Now, it's only early days. However, if you are in trouble, ring your bank straight away. They will be trying to help you. They ultimately don't want you to foreclose on that loan. For other people who are wrapped up with small business, they're offering 6-month repayment holidays. Now, this actually means if you have a mortgage, you will not have to pay that mortgage for 6 months. You will not have to pay interest charges. However, when times do return to normal, and who knows when that is, that amount of time will be put on the end of the loan. So you will have to pay it at some point, but it's basically pausing the loan, pausing the repayment, and pausing the interest. They're doing what they can to try and help to make it better for people.
So that's interesting. So that 6-month hold is actually just a 6-month extension, really, on
Exactly.
the loan. So in the end, you're still going to pay the same amount, the same interest, but it's 6 months later when hopefully things are a little closer to normal. Okay, thank you, Sophie Elsworth. Thank you for those insights.